Chase for Interwebkaiju here. Today we're going to be looking at the 2010 television series, Daimajin Kanon.
Daimajin Kanon is a lot less grounded in realism than the Daimajin films, but that's one of its biggest draws. There's so many bizarre powers and creatures that are unexpected, and these things really help keep the show interesting. As someone who has never heard of Ipadadas and Anbankes, I really enjoyed the lore that the show explained for them. There's not much that the series actually has in common with the films, aside that Daimajin doesn't show up until extremely late into the runtime. Oh, and he does the same transformation face reveal as he used to. It's pretty cool that he's given more of a backstory this time, and a nickname, and an actual name aside from Daimajin, as well as more of a personality. Daimajin's design is drastically changed, looking more stoned than before. He also appears a lot less threatening, which I think fits this series well. The strongest part of the whole series is an emotional one, and the event that helps Kanon finally break her writing block to revise the prayer song. The best part was that the event was highly predictable, but was done so well that it still worked, and it worked very, very well. The characters are all written well with believable personalities, except for maybe the dogman, who is exaggerated for comedic effect. They were all brought to life by excellent acting by everyone involved. This really helps the show not drag too much during the non-action parts. The show is all over the place in terms of cinematography and editing. Some are good, some are annoying. The CG sits at the fine line of passable and distracting. There's no doubt that what you're seeing is fake, but it doesn't take you out of the story. It wouldn't be such a big deal if most, if not all, of the giant monsters and non-human-like monster scenes weren't portrayed this way. One of my favorite parts in the 3 Daimajin films were the beautiful waterfalls that they use in the backdrops of scenes. Sadly, these have been replaced with ugly CG ones, though they still sneak some cool stuff in the backgrounds, like the slide that looks like tons of fun. There's shaky cam during human-sized fight scenes. The comedy usually doesn't work, but a couple of times I did laugh. In the end, the great Impadata is constantly laughing even though his mouth doesn't portray the action. The prayer song, which is the main part of the story, and 0 degrees Celsius is to the top, which is an altered version of the prayer song, both featured so heavily in the entirety of the series that it becomes pretty annoying. One thing that bothered me was that for a couple episodes at a time, a supporting character would be featured throughout the bulk of the episodes, but then afterwards wouldn't appear barely at all, if any. This happens enough to become distracting. A little before the halfway point of the series, the story stops progressing for a handful of episodes. There's no action scenes, and the whole point in all these episodes is Kanon struggling with her faith in humanity. This is something that needed to be addressed, but it's unlikely that the antagonist stayed dormant that whole time. The series takes another dip about another 5 episodes in as well. Additionally, there is a recap episode thrown in before the final episodes, and then a little bit more in the episode right afterwards. For those looking for giant monster action, there isn't much. Daimajin is stoned up until the last episode. There's some still frame sketches of Daimajin's past thrown in briefly throughout though. There's also this fight between the growing Impadata demon and a giant Anbake named Ganbei in the 2 episodes before the finale. It's not really very exciting. The final fight between Daimajin and the full-size Impadata is only about 10 minutes, so don't expect anything epic. Is it a great payoff for the other 25.5 episodes we've sat through to get there? Not particularly, but it's not terrible. This entry in the Daimajin franchise does stand out to me the most, even without any standout giant monster scenes. The characters are memorable, and the general plot with the Impadatas and Anbankes is new and exciting to me. It's sad that the action is pushed to the side for drama that generally isn't too powerful, and for subplots and characters that just fade away after a couple or even a single episode.
So, I was a little iffy on whether to recommend it or not, but I'm gonna say yeah, I'll recommend it, even when it's 26 episodes long for not a lot of kaiju action, but it's enjoyable, it's memorable, so I will recommend it. If you have any movies or TV series you would like me to review, leave a comment below, and thanks for watching.
バナナを成仏させておった。だが武人様にとってもそれはひどく難儀なお役目だ。おおおおお